Good evening. Welcome back to Mik'd Up. Today is Monday, September 26th. We are brought to you by Sterling Automotive. Great weekend. Great weekend for the boys. I unfortunately was not able to go to the game. I had some prior engagements that I needed to do. I had to go to a wedding that had my family, a big part of my family. My cousin. Congratulations to my cousin. He got
Which
married
big
up in
part?
Shreveport. Huh?
Which big part?
A lot of big parts.
Say, my big family guy.
Yeah, I got that's big family. I got a lot of family responsibilities. Had a great weekend though, up in North Louisiana. Don't get to go up there much. Saw a lot of my friends, my cousins that I hadn't seen in a long time. I'm back. Got back Sunday. Got just in time to watch the great game that the Saints put on and the great performance that we got to watch from the Saints game. That's exactly what I feel like I needed to do, was take a nap and sleep because it was very stinky the way they played the game. I don't understand what the issue is. We're going to get into that. That's part of the Heineken headlines. We're going to talk about the Saints. We're going to recap the LSU New Mexico game. Again, they did everything that we wanted to see them do. Anytime you pitch a shutout, that's a win, right? Like, it's hard to keep, God damn it. It's hard to keep a team out of the end zone, no matter how bad or how good. I mean, Southern scored a couple touchdowns, right? Like, it's hard to say, hey, we're going to have the goose egg. We did. And not only did we do it, did it in dominant fashion. Less than 100 yards, gave up 2 first downs. And half of those yards came on one play in the first quarter, or first half. So, like, defense was dominant. They flexed their muscles. They did what they needed to do. Offensively, I think we started to see what some of the adjustments that we're trying to make moving forward. Again, it's not about the talent. It's about what you see. It's about the scheme. It's about the how the coaching staff is adjusting to the personnel. Who's playing? Jack Besh had a huge game as far as catches. The punt return that shouldn't have been called back was called back. Like, he showed why he's a vital part. Punt return, none of us mentioned him, but looking at him back there, it makes perfect sense, right? Like, sure-handed. You don't have to be an absolute burner to be a good punt returner. If you can make a couple guys miss and you can set up your blockers, because let's be real, you have people pursuing you, you're not going to outrun the whole team more than likely. Now, if you do, you're Trenton Holiday, and great, right? It makes it easier. But you don't have to be the fastest guy on the team. Make sure you're sure-handed, make the right decisions, make a couple guys miss, get up there, find the lane, and go, right? He did that. Unfortunately, bad call, brings it back. But, it was nice to see our defense play as well as they did without some of their key starters. Major Burns out for 3 to 6 weeks. B.J. Ojulari another day, resting of whatever injuries he's going through, which I'm all for. Let our guy take some time and let him be ready for the SEC games, right? Like, he doesn't need to show anything more in the New Mexico game. But I think the big thing everybody wants to see was Jaden Daniels. Is he going to learn to sit in the pocket, learn to survey the field? I think he showed that he is starting to do that. Harold Perkins is an absolute monster. We're going to get into that. That guy is unbelievable. Brian Kelly, we're going to talk about Brian Kelly's presser that he had today, talk about some of the stuff he talked about after the game. We're also, like I said, going to get into the Saints, get into the NFL this past weekend. It was a lot to be desired, right? This weekend, as far as NFL goes, there was a lot of like low-scoring games. There was a lot of some duds. And there was also some big surprises. Obviously, the Dolphins are, I think, real. They beat the Bills, but that game was low-scoring. It wasn't what you anticipated it being. Now, the Bills, if you look at the stats,
It's crazy.
the Bills absolutely dominated the Dolphins on paper. 41 minutes of time of possession to 19. The Dolphins punted 5 times. The Bills punted once, but end of the day, Dolphins came out with a W. They're 3-0. I think they're the only undefeated team in the NFL. Who's the other undefeated team?
There's a few other. I can't remember off the top of my head. There's
The
a few
Eagles.
Eagles are undefeated. They're undefeated.
It's just Eagles and Dolphins.
Eagles and Dolphins, only 2 undefeated teams in the NFL. I know the Tampa Bay they lost to Green Bay.
Yeah.
Sunday Night Football, that had a lot to be desired. I thought that was going to be a little bit better. Now, both teams were kind of low and talent. Yeah, banged up. But it was good. The Cardinals game, I don't know what to make of the Cardinals.
I don't either.
They've been like that for 3 years. They've been like that ever since. That's what they are.
No. The last couple years, they started off super hot and then got worse.
They're like the girl who looks good from like 100 yards away, and then she gets a little closer, and you're like, God, but she's just not that great.
Or
Just not
she's,
there.
No,
Just not
no,
that
she's
great.
pretty, But then you start going on, like, then you start staying over one too many times, like, moving your clothes.
Damn, I just saw her. I didn't even talk to her yet.
Yeah.
I mean, geez, we're talking about moving in.
Yeah,
He's talking
that's
about,
what I'm saying,
He's
like-
talking about far from good, good from far, but far from good. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? Like, that's what he's talking about. He's talking about, you're not even getting to the point you're getting to.
Well, I'm saying that it's like the ebbs and flows of it were so much to where it's like they do look good, and then it's like, you know what it is? This is what it is.
Tell me what it is.
It's the girl that you bring home from the bar, wake up in the morning, no makeup on, and you're like oh,
I still
no,
think,
you fooled me.
But I still
You
think
fooled
you're.
me.
I still think you're
You
missing.
still got in bed
Yeah,
with her. I'm like, I'm not.
No,
I still think you're
missing.
missing. You're missing the whole point of like
Yeah,
seeing
because she
it
looked
and
good.
then
No.
And then it's like, this is great. And then you wake
he
up
said
like,
from
oh,
100 yards away.
I said 100 yards away.
Yeah,
100
I know
feet
what
away,
that
yeah.
is. I know what that's
Physique,
saying.
figure, everything that you look for in someone that you maybe your type, and you see from a long ways away, and you get close, you're like, okay, maybe it's not what I was looking
There's
for.
a little bit more to
that's
desire
okay.
there.
How was your weekend? Tell me about your
Great.
weekend.
Good weekend. Good weekend.
what'd you do?
Spent it with some old colleagues. Me and T-Bob watched a couple of the college football games
Nice.
together.
Nice.
Rev came with us. He
Screw our Friday night, huh?
Oh, well, no. I was
Jackass.
going to get to that first. I just wanted to
Jeez.
get that one out the way. Had excellent bonding with the squad. I know that you had to jet.
Yes.
And so I feel like I took the reins.
Oh, you took the leadership role.
Yeah, so me and Jackie, I drank responsibly while he sat there and made sure I didn't get too drunk.
Who's your DD?
Yeah, and then
Yeah.
but we had
How'd
a
that
good
go?
time. We came up with, had some scenarios that went through our heads. We had
What kind of scenarios?
we called the pool hole 700 or
We did.
a home run. It's just a good time. We got chastised by some guy at the bar. Good time, just a good overall
Good,
drinking night at Uncle
good.
Earl's.
How
The
about your
6
weekend?
the 6 to 8 carries over to about 10. It's a good night.
Yeah. Once it gets darker and people start rolling in there, it makes it a lot more fun. We are not having Uncle Earl's this weekend. This Friday. Big golf tournament for me this weekend. Like, big. So.
Wait,
He's a tourney guy now. Wow.
what? What?
Huh?
So you're a tourney guy now.
Tourney. Oh, I'm a tourney guy. It's my first one.
When do you tee off on Friday?
Oh, no, coach. It's 8:30 practice round, plus you have the horse race at 2. I ain't leaving. I'm in the
Okay,
horse
yeah,
race.
just making sure. I mean, we could push Earl's back.
I'm in the no. Coach, this is gonna be. I'm gonna be in a spot where I'm probably not gonna be able to have a show. And then we have the welcome party for all of our guests. Like it's
It's a whole ordeal.
a whole ordeal. It's a lot. I regret because we've been on a nice little 2-month roll. I think we've gone 7 straight Fridays at Earl's. Right? We've been pretty
Never
consistent.
seen somebody so cavalier with their own show. It's like, I'm not doing it.
On his ass.
Literally just said I had 2
On
months
his ass.
in a row of not missing a show at Earl's, and now I have a show that I have to miss because of this has been scheduled for a month. You knew that it was happening, and you knew it was this weekend. So don't act like you're surprised, and don't try to call me out.
Don't let him off. Don't let
Okay.
him off. Don't
Which
let
LSU
him off.
play?
Auburn.
Oh,
big
not
game.
a bit. Yeah, nobody
It's
wants.
a big game.
Yeah,
We're going to talk about it today. We're going to talk about it on Wednesday.
Hate to
talk about
preview
it.
it on Friday.
talk
That's
about
terrible.
Everybody's going to be going to Auburn. You know what I mean? Nobody's going to be there.
Is there a cut in this thing?
What?
Is there like make or miss the cut in the?
No.
Okay, so you're in it.
What do you think I'm going to do? I'm not going to miss the cut on Friday and have a show on Saturday of the game. How does that one work?
Saturday pregame show sounds pretty good. unless
Coming from the man who talks about how much work he's got and how tired he
well,
always
I don't
is,
like those shows.
and how-
I like this one.
and how he doesn't have time to do all of these things, right? Like
This one didn't work.
2 minutes before the show's
Yeah.
up, my mic's not here. I'm like, oh shit, where's my mic? And then I remember, oh, it's in my car. I forgot, so I have to go get it. It's okay. It's busy.
Was
he's
it here?
He's very good at what he does. He's very tired. He's a hot commodity, and he's got a lot of work to do. I'm giving you this Friday off.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Oh, thank you.
You're welcome.
Jack, you
welcome.
still want to go?
Hell yeah, I still want to go. I was in the chat. It said, should BJ mention Lloyd Rock a 3-man
Yeah,
show?
you wanna
Faggot
go?
Just cause.
I mean, if we can get McGee in there,
Get ignorant.
Y'all can have the show without me.
that would feel weird.
Why?
Ah,
McAfee does every Friday.
I know. I don't really like those as much.
Okay.
You gotta have the guy.
Yeah, we
Okay.
can get ignorant.
We'll do that anyway. I'm
I mean,
ignorant
I
right
don't-
now.
I'd like for you to, if you were to have the show without me, I'd like for it to be some semblance of what the show actually is. Let's not get ignorant, okay?
Oh, we're gonna do politics.
Yeah, that's definitely not do that. I think that's the last thing I want to do. Last thing I want to talk about the NFL, 2 things. Joey Burrow, they're back. Big Dick Joe's back, boys. Played well, looked really good, got off the schneid. I think they're in a good position, obviously 0-2. don't panic. He did the whole Aaron Rodgers relax type thing. Detroit Lions are
what I thought they were.
Yeah, like they are.
Actually, they're better than I thought.
They're better than I
offense.
thought. They are trying to figure out how to win. Obviously, they won last week.
Yeah.
They had a chance to win. They lost. Right? Into the game. Who scored? Who they play? Who the Detroit Lions play? You don't know?
I forgot. They're
Anyway,
better than I thought they'd be.
They are better than I thought
I
they'd be.
knew, like,
Who did they
Jared
play?
Goff's playing. Jared Goff's playing.
The offense is better than I
Yep.
thought. I knew they'd be competitive, but they're better than what you think they are.
Yep.
Commanders.
The Commanders. That's right. They beat the Commanders.
Yeah, they won.
They beat the Commanders. So they've won 2 in a row.
They won 2 in a row.
They won 2 in a row.
I'm telling you right now.
Shouldn't have lost that Vikings
Hey,
game.
I'm telling you right now, they are going to be hell
Yep.
after Thanksgiving.
Yep.
Nobody's going to want to be
Nobody
facing
wants to
them.
play them. And then now you have Jacksonville. I think Jacksonville may be good.
I think Jacksonville's good.
I
I watched
Doug
a good bit of that game.
Doug Peterson's doing hey,
It's wonderful.
why the hell Urban Meyer benched James Robinson last year blows my mind. Because that guy's a stud.
Well, I mean, he also got hurt too.
Yeah, but he
At the
benched
end
him.
of it. He did bench him a little bit.
He benched him.
Yeah.
And then your rookie quarterback had to go beg you to put him back in. Like, Urban Meyer was the definition of a debacle, right? You bring in
Yeah.
Doug Peterson, they spend some money, they do these things, they draft these guys, and boom, now they have a bona fide team. I mean, they blew out the Chargers.
They
Now,
dominated
granted,
them. It doesn't matter.
Herbert was, but
I
he's
watched
played.
the game.
He
They
played the whole game.
They straight
They dominated him. Like, it wasn't close. 24
Herbert doesn't
nothing
play defense.
last week against Indy. Like, hey, bro, they may be good. They may be good. We're gonna get into that. Everybody is listening to the show. Listen to LSU.
I was about to say let's get to
Let's get to the LSU. Those 13 minutes. Relax.
That's fine. But
Relax.
I mean, I have some NFL thoughts, but we can do those after.
So we're gonna do NFL thoughts. Also, gonna leave a little early again. It's Monday. Like football, almost got out of it today, but it didn't. So
Hey, what's Joe Brady say? Want to know?
want to know, baby. Want to know.
So
Want to know. We're getting there. All right, LSU, New Mexico. I want to go around the room first before I give you my thoughts. What did you see? Let's go negative Tiger first, and then we'll go positive around.
I'm not negative. No negativity. First, I think I might be the one leading the Matt House Brigade. I was the first one no. For the Mississippi State game, that's when I was so impressed by what his defensive plan was. And I was like, okay, this is going to work here. Because early on, yes, I was negative. There were some things that I didn't like, such as, well, now you got me doing it already. The Brian Polian hire, the Denbrock hire. You bring in things that felt easy for him.
Can I make a little side note on what you said about? I'm glad you're saying this about Matt House, because when we initially hired Matt House, the first comment that you made was, well, we hired a linebackers coach in the NFL who wasn't successful as a defensive coordinator in the SEC at Kentucky. That was the first comment that Lloyd Courtney said. So I'm glad that you are changing your tune after giving the guy an opportunity to prove you wrong. Now go ahead. I'm not calling you out.
Oh, no, that's fine.
I'm giving you credit for changing.
I think he needed
for maturing.
And I think he needed the horses. Now, I mean, Kentucky's defense wasn't terrible, but when you put them together with an LSU team that is kind of stacked on the defensive side of the ball, and I say that to say this, he ain't even have any of them. I don't know how good New Mexico is in terms of what they're gonna do for the rest of the year, but anytime you pitch a shutout and you start getting to the point where you can see a shutout happening, like the defense starts to pick everybody up and be like, no, we want this to happen, like it's a pride thing, and everybody on that defense wanted that to happen, especially whenever you see the video come out of Brian Kelly saying, let's shut these people out, like I want this to happen. You get Sevyn Banks back. You didn't notice.
He looked good.
Yeah, and you didn't notice the people that weren't out there. Like, it didn't feel like that you were missing Jay Ward, which is incredible. Harold Perkins continues to be Harold Perkins. He's going to be one of the best linebackers if it keeps going at this rate.
So here's the deal. Harold Perkins is the new age
linebacker.
Defender.
Yes.
I'm going to call him a linebacker. He's a new age defender, right? Like, you look at basketball, right? And basketball is kind of a positionless sport, right? Everybody can play all 5 positions. That's what they want, right? You start looking at some of the guys in the NFL that get drafted in the NFL. You look at the guy, Isaiah Simmons, when he came from Clemson. He was a guy who was this big linebacker, safety type guy, but ran the 4.3s, 4.4s. And now you can play him everywhere. You can play linebacker. He can put his hand in the dirt. He can play safety. He can play nickel. He can do these things and cover guys, right? That's the same guy you're getting in Harold Perkins. We talked about it. You've talked about it, Jay. You said that Harold Perkins has put his hand in the dirt. Harold Perkins has been a stand-up rusher off the edge. Harold Perkins has come right through the middle as a middle linebacker. Harold Perkins has played the nickel. If you want Harold Perkins to play corner, I'm sure he could do it. You know what I mean? Like, that's the type of athlete and that's the type of player that NFL and football is trying to get to now, right? Like, a guy who can kind of really do everything. And, someone made a really good comment or made a point about talking about how the NFL has changed and talking about how it's the NBA on grass, right? Where, you look at what Miami's doing and you look at what they did in San Francisco with Debo, like everybody going everywhere and using everybody and making sure you put them in a mismatch. Like, that's kind of what NFL is trying to turn into, is all about mismatches.
This is for both of y'all in the room, like for anybody in the room, but have you ever seen somebody as a freshman that's been able to handle this much of a, like, almost positionless football? Because as a freshman, you'd want him to come in and be like, all right, this is your role. You saw it with Marcel Brooks a little bit where he came in, rushed the passer, and that was like, come in on third down, go get the quarterback. What they're asking from Harold Perkins seems like a lot, and he's able to digest all of it very quickly.
Yep. I don't know if it would. Look, I'm not at all trying to downplay what he's done so far. It's been impressive, right? Through, 4 games now?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I do think there is a lot of, though, when you bring guys in like that and you kind of give them the free reign to kind of move around and stuff like that, you're not asking as much of them as you think. You're asking them to go be an athlete.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Right.
You know what I'm saying? So, like, the responsibilities that he has in a way is not so. They're allowing him to roam and be free and be himself right now, which is great because you get a young kid out there with that kind of ability and you just say, hey, strap it on and play fast, right? And kind of make your mistakes at full speed.
Don't think.
Right, exactly. So, like, you're not asking him to do as much as you think. He's going different spots and doing different things, but it's impressive to watch him. Like, I don't know how else to say it. Like, the kid can play.
And just real quick, that's what I'm so impressed with this Madhouse defense. The communication, the ability to get – I think there was one busted play maybe on kind of like an early option.
The deep pass ball,
just down
deep
the
pass.
lane.
And look, they ran it well. They ran the play well, but there was one,
But, like, the communication on the defensive end, everybody knows.
I'll say this. For me, when I watch this team play right now, right, you think before
and that's what I wanted to get to you. Like, I wanted to get to what did you see?
Well, you think before the year we were deemed, in a way, the too optimistic people that saw 8 to 9 wins, right? And everybody's like,
people still aren't on that yet.
No, I know. I'm just saying.
Let
me get to it because now people were then 6, 7 at the most. There's no way that we might have another losing season. Team's not good. Blah 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 blah. All this nonsense, right? They go and take care of business this week at Auburn, right? And then you come into a Tennessee game that's going to be highly hyped. Too bad it's really early in the morning, but it'll be highly hyped. If I looked at the schedule and saw a 1-point loss and literally everyone else on that schedule.
Now a ranked team in the top 25. Florida State is now ranked in the top 25, so let's
get off of that. Yeah, exactly. You got a 1-point loss to a top 25 team who had a week 0 game. You got pretty much, depending on what they do at Auburn, you got all double-digit wins, double-digit point wins, right? And you're going to go into a Tennessee team. So you're sitting here telling me after you just watched the defense, look, I don't care who you played. I get the shutout thing is cool. Like, it's real cool. But I've seen a lot of shutouts where you give up a lot of yards. Find me the last time you saw less than 100 yards given up of offense. Do you understand how freaking hard that is to do, especially in this day of offense where people are all over the place, moving all over the place, running all over the place, and they even busted one play for like 35, 40 yards.
Yeah.
And they still had under 100 yards of offense. So when you have a defense that can play like that, and you see your quarterback not giving it up, you see him manning that side of it, you're really going to sit here and tell me that through the rest of this schedule that you think that they don't have a chance at winning what would now be 1, 2, 3, 4, if they, 3 to 5 games? You're crazy.
Yeah, and
you're absolutely crazy.
Listen, even if you don't think that you can beat Tennessee, let's just say I think that we can, right? I don't think that especially
helps it's at home, but the 11 o'clock kick stinks.
We know Tennessee's the offensive team. Like, they're good there.
Right. They're going
what
to our
have you
strength.
seen through our defense so far?
Yeah, right.
Like,
So-
you're playing out strength, and you got to come here. And
But
do it.
let's just say for the pessimists out there, people who don't want to say, okay, we're gonna win, right, or we have a chance to win. Let's count that as a loss, right? What has Arkansas shown you?
Florida.
What has Florida shown you?
What has Ole Miss shown you?
Ole Miss maybe, but we haven't really seen Ole Miss
You saw
challenge
that,
yet.
You saw what they just did this past weekend.
Yeah.
Like, they struggled this past weekend.
Yeah,
What has Ole Miss shown you?
Tulsa.
What has Arkansas shown you?
right. What has A&M shown you?
What has A&M shown you?
Like-
I mean, like, you know what I mean? Like, that's you're crazy to sit here and think that they're gonna go basically under 500 for the rest of the schedule.
And they're only getting better, right? Like you see the improvement on the field. Like you see the offensive line. Hey, 2 weeks in a row, manhandle a team that they should have manhandled. We've seen in the past our offensive line not do what they should do against McNeese State last year when our quarterback is running all over the place and getting sacked and we have a tight game. Like you are seeing the improvement. You're seeing the maturity, right? You're seeing
This is how good teams play against bad teams.
Exactly. You're seeing the message that Brian Kelly is sending to the guys. You're seeing it trickle down to everybody, right? It's infiltrating the entire locker room, and you're seeing people buy into it. Now you get to go out to Auburn on the road against a team who hasn't been very impressive, got lucky to win last week against Missouri, and get to really show you, hey, this is how much better, because now you're playing against SEC athletes again, like you did against Mississippi State, but a team who's known to give you kind of issues, especially defensively, and it's going to be another really good test.
The thing that's that football presents you, because you only play one of them a week, and losing is so magnified in this sport, is that people don't. It feels like you bring up this statement week in and week out because of this situation or the forever changing situations that you get, but you're going to get an Auburn team who is desperate as hell. That's going to be playing at home again.
Yep.
After how they just looked, after what they know this is going to mean if they lose, this is a huge test for them.
Yep, for sure.
To go on the road on their first true road game of the season and play a pretty desperate team.
And you're going to face a quarterback who can move, right? Now, he doesn't throw the ball very much. They like to use his athleticism and run him around. I don't know if he's going to be the starter, whatever. He is a starter. I don't know if
Well, TJ's the starter if he's healthy.
if he's healthy. But I hope TJ's healthy because I'd rather him start. Because I don't think TJ Finley's
He's
that
gonna be a
good.
sitting duck back there.
Yeah, I don't think TJ
I don't
Finley's that
think
good.
that-
No, TJ was the starter before he got hurt.
Yeah, I think after what you saw this weekend,
That guy didn't impress me at all.
I know, but if you're
He's talking about if you're watching LSU's defense.
if you're watching
you're going
LSU's
fast
defense
guys.
and what happened against Florida State, wherever they kind of struggled with
That's what I'm saying.
somewhat mobile quarterback. Me too. So I'd imagine that Brian Harsin's thinking the same thing, to where I
Right.
might make a change.
Now, this guy doesn't throw as well as
No, he has no idea what
Travis.
he's doing.
Like he doesn't. He's been an athlete, right? So I
But
don't
that
know who the
is-
starting
that is-
quarterback. But this is the numbers I want to bring up on the defense, right? This is how good LSU's defense has been this year. Everybody would probably assume or agree in here, consensus in the room, that Georgia is one of the top defenses in the country, right? Georgia really hasn't been challenged yet as far as playing a team or top tier team, whatever. Georgia is 11th in total defense, right? LSU is 12th in total defense, right? If you want to go to third down percentage, I don't know, that's getting too.
One more thing about Saturday is we talked about the total yards for the game. Well, just in the second half, 3 total yards in an entire half of football with your backups coming in the fourth quarter.
Yeah.
3 yards.
Yeah, and that the whole point of this is LSU's defense has been very good, and they're continuing to. They are, what shows me how well coached they are, and how bought in they are, and how advanced I think that they can be, is watching what happened this week, and you putting a cornerback who has played cornerback at safety, and you don't feel the difference. You feel like you see him make some plays, you see him do what he's supposed to do, and he just fits right into that role. That makes me understand. That shows me that he understands the concept of their defense and what they're trying to do, and not just saying, okay, this is what I'm supposed to do at this position, and that's it. Like, no. I know what everyone's supposed to do. Like, I know how our defense is supposed to be playing, so I can fit into this other spot. And I think, to me, that's a sign of a defense who's bought in.
Like I'm sitting here right now thinking through 4 games that off the top of my head I could really put my finger on 3 like really big plays. And I guess you could call 2 of them broken coverages, right? 2 of them, the 2 trick plays. The first touchdown that Florida State scored, this big play that New Mexico had, and the one-handed catch in the back of the end zone that Florida State had.
Right.
Other than that, find me like really big plays that they got gashed on.
Yep.
Yeah, and I wouldn't say that big plays have been the problem. It was like the 3rd and 8s, 3rd and 11s that concerned everybody.
But my point to you, the reason why I bring it up is because that's exactly what I'm trying to say is that you don't find that in college ball without, like, you have to have a very, very, very disciplined defense, and discipline means you're coached very well for big plays like that to not be happening, right? So that tells me a lot when you don't really see those things happening on this team.
Yeah, that means, I guess, to your point, it would be like these 3rd downs are correctable. Like, we're going to be able to get people, and it feels like the addition of Micro Basketball on the defense has been just an absolute game changer as well. Savion Jones is playing well. The only thing that, if you want to get to, obviously, that it's hard to be, I'm not going to say negative, but some of the bad that came out of it, you have Major Burns, who's hurt for 36
but you get Fuchsia back.
Right.
You get
Joe
Fuchsia
Fuchsia's
back.
coming back, which I think Joe Fuchsia may be better safety than Major Burns.
We'll see.
We will see. But I think
that's
Fuchsia's got more experience in the SEC than Major Burns, right? Major Burns last year was the first time he's played.
He played at Georgia, but it was mostly on special teams.
You know what I mean? But he didn't play. You know what I mean? Like he
play
didn't
that much.
Yeah, right.
Fuchsia's been out there, and he's played with Greg Brooks before, so you're good on that end. But it's just more about inserting a new starter into an away
at least
environment.
3-year starter, a team captain. I mean,
Right.
that's a
Yeah.
leader. And more than just his playing, he's a leader. Yeah.
I'm excited to have Fuchsia out there because I think he's a dog.
I think it helps. I think you have. I think you're showing with 7 banks. I think you have a lot more depth. And if you see guys being able to just transfer from the corner to the safety position as seamlessly as they did last week, I think that's a good sign. Especially with 7 Burns there, maybe you can put him back at safety again. I don't know, but what I want to see, what I want to talk about, right? Like you talked about a little of the defense. You talked about the defense. What I would like to see, or what I liked that I saw was, one, Jack Besh made a huge difference being in there, right? Like he had some catches that were a little outside of his body that he caught, that he brought down. Like he's sure-handed. He's going to fight for every yard. The punt return thing I think was a very, very good move. He's smart. He understands what he's trying to do, and he showed you that he can take it back to the house if you need him to, right? So that was something that I didn't anticipate. I was glad to see it. Malik Neighbors is a bona fide star at wide receiver. Like he is long, he's athletic, get the ball in his hands. Like our receivers look really good. Like we all anticipated them. Now, on the flip side, everybody we've been talking about, not just us, a lot of people have been talking about Jaden Daniels and about how he doesn't sit in the pocket, he doesn't survey the field, he's too quick to run, and we agree. I think there's times where he's done that. I think Brian Kelly has come out and he has said that. Now, what I saw this past week was a conscious effort by Jaden to sit in the pocket and survey the field and go through his progressions. Understand? Like, it's not. You can say, "Oh, they played New Mexico." You can say all you want. They're still running a scheme and they're still trying to defend you. Like you still have to make a read.
Too.
Like you still have to make a read, right?
They're on scholarship.
Yeah,
too.
right. Like it may not be Auburn, it may not be Alabama, but it's a start. And you saw him sit in the pocket and you saw him go through his progressions. You didn't see him tuck it and run near as much as he did in the past. And as a result of that, you saw the receivers start to catch more balls. You started to see more completions deeper over the middle of the field than you have seen in the past, right? There was a couple passes to, I don't know if it was Brian Thomas or if it was Jure over the on the left side over the middle, right? Like you haven't seen
fit some balls in.
Yeah, and you haven't seen that over the last few games because he hasn't been able to get it there because he maybe has got off the read a little earlier, didn't see it. You saw him make a conscious effort. Also, Nussmeier looked a lot better, right? He came in, did the same things. He came in, made quick, accurate throws, good decisions. It's nice to have 2 quarterbacks that are starting to progress, even if you're not on the field.
What I'm seeing, like, you watch Jaden play, and for right now, for me, it's from week 1 to week 4, I feel like there's been games over, you can have just a little bit less and a little bit less and a little bit less of griping of what he doesn't do good. Right? So to me, that sounds like somebody who's ascending and who's getting better. What more can you ask for? You bring up Nussmeier, and yeah, he looked great, right? And then his last, obviously, appearance wasn't so good. And I think right there tells you, well, if this is what a down day is for him, it's going to be tough for us to have that when the other guy's down day has kept us in games. So if there's nothing else more than it, like that right there to me is the separator, and that right there is obviously probably experience.
And look, there's experience there too.
That's what I'm saying. That right there is experience.
And
right?
so I'm not. I think Nussmeier's a great quarterback. I love the fact that we have him on our roster, right? I love that fact that both of our quarterbacks combined for 414 yards passing
and
with 6 incompletions, right? Like, I enjoyed seeing that. I enjoyed seeing balls come out. I enjoyed seeing it get into your playmakers' hands and allow them to make plays. I enjoyed watching our running game. I enjoyed watching our team run the football the way they should run the football, right? Noah Kane had a big day. He kind of has gotten lost in the shuffle of the last couple of weeks. He hasn't really played much. Now, good one. Armani got hurt.
That's what I was going to get to with some of, like, if you were to go like the good, the bad, and the ugly. Hamstring for Armani, who felt like he was really starting to figure it out.
That's tough because he's looked strong. He's put the ball in the end zone. He's done a lot of things for us. The beauty, and I'm not discrediting. I'm not discrediting the running back position because I think it's very important. I think that it's not as easy as saying I'm just going to plug a guy in there and let him be productive, right? Because there's vision involved, there's pass protection involved, there's a lot of different things that come into play outside of just getting the rock and running and trying to get yards. With that said, I think that our running back room is fine even though one goes down, right? I think that with Emory and the way Josh Williams is playing. And
underrated as hell.
I didn't realize he was a badass basketball player. I read that story on him.
And baseball player.
I didn't know baseball, but I know basketball. I know he played in China. Like, he got coached up by Keyshawn Olajuwon in China.
When did you find this out?
He said it in his player interview.
I was reading an article. Yeah, it was about. It's kind of crazy. So like, he played with some guys that are Maxey, the point guard.
Yeah,
from
Tyrese Maxey.
Yeah, they're on the same team. Like all these guys, right? He's super athletic. He's a little bowling ball. He runs guys over. It's hard to tackle him, right? Yeah. But he catches the ball at the backfield very well. With him, John Emery, and Noah Kane, I think you have a formidable three-headed monster back there that you can put in, even though Armani Goodwin goes down. So, to me, I'm not discrediting the position, but I think that we're in a spot to be able to handle that type of injury. Hopefully, for Armani's sake, he's not out for long.
He said he's day-to-day.
Right. So, hamstrings are tricky. But back to the offense, like, you could see Denbrock start to make adjustments on how he's calling plays. I mean, you saw early in the game they went tempo right away, right? It wasn't a 2-minute drill, but it was tempo. It was like, hey, we're gonna get some rhythm, and we're gonna go, and we're gonna create the tempo of this game that we want.
Dictate what's going on,
and
over
that's
here.
important to me. That's the coaches saying, all right, this is who we have. We had a few games to kind of see how everybody works, interacts. We're gonna go ahead and do that.
So weird because I feel like the temperament around the outside of the team is everyone's waiting for the quote unquote implosion. Like you're watching the team get better and do better, and everyone's like, oh, but we said they're only supposed to win 6 or 7. Like, when's it gonna come out? When are they gonna look like shit? When are they not gonna play well? And you're not getting that out of it. Right. You get what I'm saying? Like you're not getting it. You're getting a team who's steadily playing better, who's steadily looking better too.
You just feel like they're better coached, right? Like, and that's what we said last year. You had a team that had 10 guys drafted in the NFL that had a losing record, that looked sloppy, that were frustrating, that didn't seem like they were very well. They weren't disciplined. They weren't coached. You had a bunch of issues, but they won 6 games, right? You have a team now who's better coached, seems like they're more organized, more disciplined, and you're telling me that we can't win 2 more games. They can't win 2 more games than they did last year, just because of coaching. I feel like you're gaining 1 or 2 wins. You know what I mean? Like you're going to be put in a position to win games.
Like you're not going to go to where is it? You're not going to go to Kentucky and get your doors blown off by the like that's not a thing here. It should not be a thing here. So like just by situations like that, you keep staying in the game, the ball bounces one way, you win games that you're not quote unquote supposed to win.
Right.
You know.
I mean, you saw it in the Mississippi State game when the guy muffed the punt. Like, he kept it close. Muff punt, games changed.
Well,
and then run with it.
that's
Muff
the
punt,
thing.
we can't run the ball. All of a sudden, we break a 50-yard touch. Like, that's just how the game changes,
Yeah.
right? And that's what people are not understanding. Like you said, losing record, everyone knows how much of a mess it had turned into last year and even kind of the year before. It just wasn't as out as much as it was. And they still won 6 games.
Right.
You're crazy to think that they can't win 2 to 3
Right,
to
and
4 more.
And
this
that's
year. You're crazy.
That's the argument, right? Like, and here's the deal.
And let it be said, we all bet over 7.
Oh, we did. We
Yeah.
all took the over.
We're all because big. I think
No,
that
we
was
are,
the
but
biggest
I
point,
think people
yeah.
are so apprehensive of like, man, is this really this? Like, and the crazy part about being here and how you see football here is that they go ahead and beat Auburn and maybe beat Tennessee, and everybody's gonna be like, well, this could be a national championship team. I'm gonna be honest with you, I'd be shocked as hell if they find a way there.
Right.
I'd be shocked as hell. But here, the expectation is
Yep.
either that, the shit house, or the castle, and no one expects you to be anywhere in between, right?
Well, because 10 wins is still the shit house.
Exactly. and that's my point over here is like people are like, oh, they're not that good. They're not that good. And then you're going to see them beat teams and not supposed to be like, oh, well, they should win a national championship. No, they shouldn't.
Right.
If they do, oh, my God.
Yeah, and what a great coaching
Oh,
job.
right.
If
Here's
he,
the-
if he gets one this year.
But that's my point. You know, like that's where this
And
thing
here's
is.
here's my not counter, but here's to add to what you're saying, right? You go to Auburn this weekend, and there's a lot of hypotheticals. We don't know what's going to happen, but I think everybody can see like, okay, we're going to see how Auburn's been playing. We're going to see how LSU's been playing. Like, we may not be favored, but we probably will
We're
be.
favored by 7.5.
Oh, we are favored. They already came out with the opening line.
7.5.
And it's already gone up to 8.
Wow.
Okay, so we're starting to get a little bit of some traction, right?
Or is that a reflection of how
A
trending
little bit of
Auburn
both.
is?
A little bit of both. A little bit. I mean,
I think both teams are trending in opposite directions.
for sure, that's my point. But like, they're not going to give you a 7.5. They're not going to give LSU a 7.5, 8-point cushion on the road if they don't believe that they're going to be able to do that, right? And so you go there. Let's say you go to Auburn.
It's still a money decision for
Right.
line makers. So.
Right. You go to Auburn. You take care of business. You beat them by 2, 3 touchdowns. You beat them by double digits. And you look good doing it. You come back next week, probably going to be close to being ranked in the top 25. You're going to have Tennessee at 11 o'clock game. You don't think the boys are coming in at home pissed off because they have to play an 11 o'clock game. They feel a little disrespected that way. They're playing a top 10, maybe a top 5 team at that time. I mean, Tennessee's off this week. So, depending on what happens ahead of them, they may be in the top 5 in the country. Coming to LSU, playing an 11 o'clock game. You don't think the boys feel disrespect? You don't think they're going to have a lot of confidence after, hey, we lost a bad game the first game, and we won 4 straight?
I'll just put it to you like this. For the group of boys that's in that locker room right now, they could play that game at 8 a.m., coach, and they'd be ready to go.
No doubt.
Right? Meaning, like, you get to this point in the schedule, if they go on the road and take care of business this week and you bring a top 10 team in here, they're going to be ready to go. They'll be ready to play.
Right.
You
Here's
can play at
the
any time.
thing. You go ahead and somehow you get through that Tennessee game and you win. People are going to start talking about, man, this team's real.
What do you have to say?
They
then?
might beat Bama.
Oh
What
my
do you
God!
have- what do you have to say then?
This team's better than 8 wins. This team may win 10. Oh my God! They just beat a top 5 team, right? But that's how easy it can happen in the season, right? You go there and you start building confidence because it's not because of lack of talent. Maybe we don't have as much depth, and maybe we don't have the guys that we want to have. But the guys on the field right now are proving to you that they are talented enough to win any game that they get on it.
I think the biggest like task for a new coach coming in is to, one, get people to buy into what you're saying. I think it's pretty obvious that they've done a good job of getting people to, all walk in the right direction or the same direction, right? And then now, when you start having success and people start paying attention to you, which these next 2 weeks are going to give them the opportunity to do, how do you keep them hungry and keep them working and keep them on the same things you got them to buy into from the start, right? Like, those are the 2 biggest things, because that's what's, that's where you're going to be. You sit here and you take 2 W's the next 2 weeks. We're sitting here looking at a 5-1 team who's probably going to be somewhere around top 15, right?
Right.
So that's the teetering point and how big these next 2 weeks are for them. But that's what you're looking at right now. And
No
if you
doubt.
sit here and say we have a 5-1 team who just beat a top 10, maybe top 5 team in Tennessee going into it, you're going to tell me they don't have a chance to go to Florida and win? You're going to tell me they don't have a chance to come back home and beat Ole Miss? You're going to tell me they don't have a chance to beat Alabama? You're crazy.
If you're going to continue to progress offensively like the way they've progressed, and you're going to allow your quarterback to sit in the, if he's going to say, okay, I'm going to be stubborn to the point of I'm going to sit in the pocket, even if I take a couple more. What did you do up there?
That's
Yeah, no,
from
that's
the chat. I
interesting.
wanted to. I
love
just,
that.
Yeah, I figured out how to do this. It's a little
Wow.
VMix social. So anybody that puts anything in the chat, I can show it to, so
I
you don't
love
have to keep
that.
up with it. Yeah, because I thought that Brandon had it actually like a.
Thanks, Brandon.
Yeah, Brandon Reese. I got a couple more that I'm gonna fire up there, but
Let's go.
he was interested to see what the offense will do in a hostile environment because LSU hasn't played a. Has they played a true road game
No, they
yet?
haven't.
No,
they
they
haven't. And I agree. That's why I think this Auburn game is such a good test. I think the way that the SEC schedule is set up for LSU this year, you had a really good test at Mississippi State earlier in the year, right? At home, you had the ability to say, okay, what adjustments did I make after the Florida State game? You had the Florida State game. We didn't look great, right? We almost won. Everybody knows how it happened. Next game you play Southern. Okay, a little tune-up game. Get some confidence, do some things. Then you play against Mississippi State, who is good. And it was up and coming, and they were better than us, supposedly better than us. They were favored. You get to play that team at home, but it wasn't a team that everybody looked at and said, "Oh, there's no way we can win." But they had a complicated offense, so it was going to test our defense, right? It was going to test our offense enough to say who can, if they make enough improvements, they go ahead and they win by 2 touchdowns, right? They win by 15 points. Then you go ahead and you play New Mexico. Same thing. Okay, let's get a little more adjustments going on within our team. Let's see how we can improve, tune up. Then we go to Auburn on the road in a hostile environment on a team who's, traditionally they have played very tight games. They're not very high scoring games. They usually are very, 1-2 possession games. Now we get to go there, but we're favored by 8 points, right? So we get to ease into this schedule and get to test us a little bit differently until you start playing the big dogs, right? Because you're about to go through the gauntlet of Tennessee, Arkansas, Alabama, A&M, all of those teams, Ole Miss. Like, you're about to go through the gauntlet. I think the way our SEC schedule has set up, it is going to be beneficial for us. Like, this is a good test. This is another good coaching point. I mean, it's a test where you don't have to play perfect to win, but you want to play. You want to go out there and make.
Truth be told, this is the beginning of the gauntlet. Like, let's just be honest
right,
with it.
right.
They might not be a good team right now, but they got some dudes running around.
Right. No, you're right.
Yeah, and this game's always close.
100%.
Man,
Traditionally, it's always close.
truth be told, this is the beginning of the gauntlet. Right?
I would still say Mississippi State, but this being able to.
But you don't have a break.
The reason why I'm
UAB,
saying,
like, later,
the reason why I'm not saying Mississippi State is not because of who they are, but because you had the break in between.
Yeah.
The gauntlet meaning you got Auburn, Tennessee, Florida, Ole Miss, Alabama, Arkansas before you get to another break.
That's pretty good.
Because it's right there.
Before you get that's pretty good.
It's right there.
Pretty solid.
But my point is like that's what I mean by the gauntlet. Like you don't have any more breaks. Like you don't get to come up and breathe and get some air.
You get a bye week.
No.
Yeah.
I don't. That's not a break because you're still in it. You get what I'm saying? So I mean, for me, like, what's the biggest challenge you think of going into a hostile environment and playing another team?
Communication.
Yeah, just communication. Well, also my point is, I mean, with how the game's going, with how they're feeling about Harsin, are we sure it's going to be a typical Auburn environment, or do you think it doesn't matter? It's LSU.
It's a 6 o'clock game. It'll be pretty rowdy.
You only get 8 of those a year.
Yeah. To answer your question, like obviously communication is a big thing, right, in a hostile environment. But and you can attest to this because you've done it in the SEC on the football field. When you're going into a visitor's stadium, right? And you're playing, and you're the away team, and you're going. Everybody's against you, right? Well, things start to speed up a little bit faster than you would. Like you're in a kind of out of your comfort zone. You're not normal. You're not normally there. A lot of new guys. So for me, it's like I want to see. This is where I think Brian Kelly is where you see the difference. And Brian Kelly is able to bring these guys and say, hey, let's slow it down. Nothing changes. The venue may change. The colors that we're playing against may change. But we're going to do the same shit that we've been doing since we made these adjustments. So the rowdier it gets, and the less, like, even if you can't communicate as well as you want, let's let's calm this thing down and let's not speed this game up. To me, that's the thing that I want to see is us be able to handle that. Not I don't want to see us throw for 4. I mean, obviously, I would love to see that, but that's not what I'm looking for. Like, if we can slow it down and you can do the things that you practiced all week and you've practiced the last 2 weeks and you don't allow things to speed up, I think we won by 2 touchdowns, at least. What about you?
No, I agree. Like, I think when you go into situations like this, like you said, like, communications, it's key, right? Well, that starts where?
From the top.
From the top. You do it in practice, but it comes from the top, right? So I think, once again, with this coaching staff, the way you've only seen this team ascend, like, how well are they going to coach them up this week to be able to get them in there, to be able to go into a hostile environment, to be able to perform seamlessly without hiccups all over the place, without not being able to communicate, all that stuff. It's huge, right? Because if I can communicate, we're playing the same game now. There's no speeding up. Like,
right.
What sped up? I heard you. Oh, I saw you. I know what that means. I know what we're doing.
And here's what I like. That
Kevin
Brian...
Steele their defensive
No.
No? Mm-mm. Okay. I just don't know how good the Auburn defense is. And the thing that
They're 45th in the country in total defense.
What's Florida State right now? Because my I guess my big concern would be if there's going to be one, because I do feel like LSU is just better than Auburn at this point. Like, that feels like a dumpster fire. They're waiting to fire.
Because they're 8-point favorites. Like
yeah, I understand that, but they're waiting to fire Brian Harsin. They wanted to do it last week after an absolute shit show of a college football game where you got fat kickers out there, you got balls hitting off the top of the goal.
Florida State's 28th.
And
hey, by the way, did we
Auburn is what?
45.
Yeah.
I said 45. Auburn's 49th.
Hey, by the way, did we not talk about that too? We said at the beginning of the year after they played Florida State, like, hey, look, I get it. We think it's Florida State, blah blah blah, but I think their defense is probably a little bit better than what people think they are.
Mm-hmm.
Also, Mississippi State's 32nd.
Okay. Yes.
Total defense, so that's tough for reference.
Well, that's where I was going to try to get to, is because LSU got to play that game at home. You saw them struggle in the first half. I mean, pretty mightily at home against Mississippi State. Like, the offense looked very similar to what it did against Florida State, where it's
except for the last drive
we got like no points, we got no yards, we don't know what we're doing. It feels like. Then you get the couple of cupcake games, you get yourself more comfortable. LSU fans are buying in. You're getting to the point where it feels like maybe Jaden Daniels has figured it out a little bit more, which I agree with all of that. But now you lose Armani Goodwin, and you lose kind of your bell cow running back.
But when he actually had the least amount of carries on Saturday.
I disagree.
Part
with
of that
the
was because of
bell
the
cow
injury.
part.
But other than that, I mean,
the guy that they trust the most.
I think they trust Josh Williams the most, to be honest with you.
Right. Okay. So, but I would say Armani's more talented, probably. I like both of them.
Yeah, I'm with you.
I'm just saying,
I just don't think that's going to be as big of a issue as we're making it out to be.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I agree with what you're saying. Like, you want to be full strength and you want to have everybody that's been comfortable, but I don't think losing him is going to be. It sucks.
I think when it comes to offensive football, at the college level and at the professional level, there's two spots that, for me, in my mind, that when you lose those spots, it becomes a problem. You lose a quarterback, lose a starting quarterback, and lose a number one receiver. I'm not saying you can plug and play anybody in the backfield, but you kind of can. In a way, you kind of can. And they still got guys who have gotten a lot of experience, gotten a lot of touches. I think they'll be fine back there. When you start losing guys on the perimeter that they no longer have to game plan for, or have to watch for and stuff like that, then guess what?
Keyshawn.
Oh,
they did, and they were still able to, which tells you about the receiver room right now, right? But my point is when they no longer have to pay attention to them dudes, and they don't feel threatened by them dudes, the running game suffers, right? Because now they can just suck in on that all day, right? When you don't have to do that, and there's still good players on the perimeter, there's still a good quarterback behind, you're fine. So I'm not saying that you can plug and play anyone, but I think the group that they have back there with the experience that they've had and the amount, I think they'll be fine.
Yeah, I was just gonna say that's where it seemed like Jaden had developed the most continuity with Armani, and then you go into a road environment and you start, okay, now I don't have the guy that I trust the most on these like design quarterback reads. Does he revert back to all right, shit gets tough. It's starting to get loud.
Well, there's no
I'm gonna
trust
go
in that.
back.
That's what I mean, like-
There's no trust in that. Like,
Yeah.
Well, that's reps. That's trust.
but it's not, because it's coached up in a sense where, like, you're not taking the ball on reads as the runner.
Right.
Like, the ball's being put in your stomach, and you're just gonna go until you like have it. The quarterbacks, you know what I mean? Like, so like that has to be that's not really a
And
trust
the-
between
the-
quarterback and running back.
To what he's saying, I don't think, like, reverting back to the running, like, the running back doesn't determine that.
Yeah, that's
You know
what
I mean?
that's what I'm saying. Like,
Yeah.
that's not really a trust thing between
Like, the
them
running
two.
back's not determining if the quarterback's going to be comfortable sitting in the pocket.
Yeah.
Right? I get where you're coming from as far as, like, having a guy back there and being
Yeah.
able to know, but, like, he's not going to determine if Jaden Daniels is going to leave the pocket early or not.
Yeah.
What's going to determine that is if the offensive line continues to get better,
Yeah.
and or the secondary confuses him and he's not sure about what's reading, and everything starts to speed up, and that's what he's going to revert back to what he's comfortable doing is running. But, you know, I think that with Brian Kelly coming out this week and he's talking about, you know, you see how Brian Kelly's involved with the quarterbacks, right? Obviously, Joe Sloan's the quarterback coach, but you have Brian Kelly, who's always been part of that quarterback room. Talked about how he wanted to talk about fast feet, right? And basically slowing down the reads and simplifying the reads. So Jaden Daniels' feet and his footwork has been the issue, like last year and coming in. That was the one thing they wanted to get better, right? Like not squaring his shoulders. That's why he lost some balls on the sideline out of bounds. And he talked about how they talked about using fast feet and slowing down or simplifying the reads. And you could tell he got a lot comfortable doing that. So what I want to see, Brian Kelly likes to get the ball early. Win the coin toss, give me the ball.
Which is shocking.
Which I like, though. I don't mind it.
I hate it.
I hate it.
I don't mind it. Let me rephrase that. I don't mind it
For what he's trying to do with this team.
for what he's
Right.
trying to do with this team. Now,
I hate it.
in the
but
past,
whatever.
now listen, if he's going to win the coin toss and he wants the ball against Auburn, come out there with a good game plan. Show me that first 15 that you've been working on all week and go down there and march the ball down the field and score a touchdown. Take them out the game early. You know what I mean? Like,
I'm
that
just
simplifies
for me.
the-
I
Put
hate
my
it.
best side of the ball out there first.
Yeah, that's fine. I hate it. I like the and like this just.
I like getting the ball
preference.
at halftime.
It's just preference.
I do
but
like that.
I like the last first four.
Yeah. I
So
do
like for
that.
me, I want ball at half.
Yeah.
I want to try to score before half, and I want ball at half.
Yeah, I
that's
think-
just preference though. Like
I agree.
He's not coaching it that way.
Yeah.
You can't knock him.
I've
but
always
it's
always
whatever.
been on that way too.
Yeah.
But if he's gonna get the ball first and the offense is gonna go out first and they're gonna go out there, I want them to go down there, show me a good drive, go tempo, get the ball out,
Yeah.
start moving it, and say, okay, hey, we've made this change. We're gonna go down there, put some points on the board, knock you in the mouth. Now what are you gonna do? Because we know you can't score against Missouri. Good luck.
And maybe too, like I think there might be a thought in his mind. Look, and the guys are getting better. They're only gaining steam. They're only gaining more confidence. But maybe in his mind, he thinks too, like, hey, I'm not sure that my defense actually really truly knows how good that they are. So I want them to see my offense moving the ball. I want them to finally get on the field when they get on the field and not feel like they have to win the game.
Right.
Not feel like they have to pitch the shutout for us to win. Right? You get what I'm saying? Like kind of it's kind of like the Jacob deGrom effect. Like that guy kind of feels like he has to go out there and throw a shutout every time he throws it for the longest time because he
Right.
would never get run support.
Right.
It's kind of like that. So maybe he feels that way right now, and maybe at some point he changes. Who knows? I don't know. But maybe that has something to do with why he's so bullish about ball first score.
Yep, I agree. I mean, I would just like to see it. I like to see them go out there and have some get some momentum early offensively, because I think that would obviously slow. If you go down there, score a touchdown first drive, defense comes out, knocks them in the mouth. You've already taken the crowd out of it. Yeah. You've taken the home field advantage out of play early on, right? Which is
that's
what you all try to do.
That's where I am with it. I feel like because of, and I'm about to pull up what was said in the chat, but because of what happened with Auburn last week, and if you're able to, obviously contingent on winning the toss, whatever, but go on defense first, 3 and out, the boos are going to start turning in quick and heavy on Auburn because it seems like they want Brian Harsin out. There's reports of him already being fired if he had lost to Missouri. They went in that bizarre fashion.
Boy, I feel for you Auburn fans because we had that with the last 2 coaches. Les was fired before the game, somehow kept him, and then that sucks. It's a tough position to be in.
Because really, what is that? If you're really just playing the result at that point. If you're Auburn brass, like just because you won doesn't mean that you won in a fashion that makes you think this is going to change it all. And so if LSU's able to go in there, make them go 3 and out, score, that play starts turning it. You take away almost the entire home field advantage, and then you make somebody lose their job, which I'm fine with. Harsin can go and with his assistant and go right off into the sunset and get $17 million just like Coach O did. But
Is that his buyout?
yeah, I think it's something crazy. But Auburn does it all the time. But I was just wondering. That's why I would want to take the ball. I mean, that's why I'd want to kick off first, is to put your best unit on the field first.
I agree.
Especially if they're going to start it, which I believe is a true freshman quarterback. Who there's some things in there that kind of made me a little like, this has way more juice than a TJ Finley. I would bet I think it's already up to 9 now. So I would bet like LSU up to almost 10 points if TJ Finley starts, because LSU knows that book.
They're gonna go get him.
Yeah, like that feeds right into what LSU does well. A mobile quarterback scares me a little bit more. I think it makes it a little bit closer, especially with a guy at home. But that's why I would.
isn't that the thing about any mobile quarterback though?
Right.
Like,
it always gives you a shot.
Yeah.
Same thing with
But
Jaden.
but the difference between this mobile quarterback and Travis and even Bo Nix is,
Bo Nix beat you.
but those guys can throw, like, consistently. I'll say consistently, but they had the ability to throw the ball downfield after they kind of ran around. This guy hasn't. I mean, he may be able to, but he hasn't shown me the ability to do that. At least last game, he threw the ball like 6 or 7 times. Like, he didn't throw the ball a lot. He was more of like just an athlete running around and getting yards, which is great. But that's only going to take you so far offensively, especially on a team that's starting to gain, let's play together for 5 games or 4 games, So it's going to be fun. I'm glad it's a 6 o'clock game. I'm glad that they didn't give us another morning game. But Tennessee game sucks. That makes me so mad that it's 11 o'clock. I'll be out there, though. I'll be tailgating 9 a.m., maybe a little earlier than 9. But I'll be out there.
Hey, you take care of business.
What time? Wait.
You take care of business these next 2 weeks, and you've earned yourself some night games.
Yeah.
They'll be
I wish there was a way, like, after you win this game on
Flex.
Auburn, like, somehow flex it or, like, somehow say, okay, we're going to put you at 6. They can't do that.
ESPN had the opportunity to do that. What are the games that they picked over the LSU? It was Georgia.
No, that's CBS, right?
Right. So then LSU, doesn't ESPN have some sort of option to be able to opt in to get a night game? That's how the
I'm
8
not
o'clock
sure.
game happened against Auburn. It was on ESPN. And so they have the...
I'm not 100. I just know that you have Auburn. Georgia plays. CBS got the Georgia game and then the Alabama game that week, too.
Yeah, this is when they decided to flex. I think they picked that before the year because of the Alabama, Texas A&M kind of WWE
Which
show
I'm good
they
with.
put on.
I'm good with
but
that.
now A&M is not very good. I mean, what did
they
Max
won.
Johnson was like 11 for 21 for 151 yards and got a win.
Well, we got lucky that the ball hit the very top part of the goalpost.
Yeah.
And I was watching it like at the wedding on the phone with an Arkansas fan next to me. Like, he is my cousin's boyfriend, went to Arkansas, and he's watching it, and I'm watching the game, and he's on the side. He's like, I can't watch it, and he kicks it, and I'm like, oh my God. He goes, what happened? I said, it literally hit the top part of the field goal post and boinked off.
I've never
was
seen
like,
somebody
oh my
miss
God.
one that high. And I don't know what KJ Jefferson was doing, trying to dive in from the 5-yard line. Like, he tried to go, like, full Superman. That game was just a debacle. Then you have A&M
But
recover
after
that
watching-
fumble, and then they get a handoff to their own defensive player, run it back for a touchdown.
I like that.
And
That
I
was
think
awesome.
they're yeah. That was shades of Ed Reed at Miami
I
against
like
Boston
it.
College.
But here's the thing. After watching those teams play,
You feel good about LSU.
that's my point. Like, those teams, looking at those teams play, like, they're ranked higher. They have more hype. But watching them play, you're like, damn, does this really, like, do I see anything there that, like, damn, they're way better than us? You know what I mean? Do you? I don't know.
No, I feel like Tennessee would still be the one.
Tennessee's
that,
offense-
I'm
is good.
going to be honest with you, man. Like, from what we've seen so far this year, like, just outside of PTSD and what's happened between Alabama for however many years in a row and how that's been going, Tennessee's probably the one that scares me the most on the schedule.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
from what I've seen this year.
Well, Alabama, obviously.
But that's what
Yeah.
I'm saying. Like, if you wipe away the history of what's happened in Alabama, you watch Alabama play so far this year, and you're like,
Just strictly what you see on the field.
shit, man.
Yeah.
Tennessee's
like that.
good.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So like you look at that and you're 100% right, man. I think that's their, it's going to be one of their biggest tests.
Hey, Jack, this is what I want you to do. After we beat Auburn, actually wait till after we beat Tennessee. I want us to beat Tennessee, and then I want you to put the coach. I want you to go and quote tweet Glenn Gilbo.
It's not worth it, dude.
And I want you to put the coaches, and I want you to put the records, and I want you to put about how they lost to Tennessee and we beat Tennessee. Actually, don't do that.
Yeah, don't do it. He'll love that.
Fuck Glenn Gilbo.
Yeah, dude. We had early on for Colada show, we had Glenn Gilbo on one time. Made it on one time, and Jordy was like, "Oh, this will be funny." We probably had like 80 people leave the show. They're like, "I fucking hate this dude. I'm sorry. If he ever comes back on, I'll never come back."
Wow.
Like,
He's
like,
a
God,
fucking
Gilbo
clown.
moves the needle, dude. Jesus.
He's a fucking clown.
Well, he's a hack. I mean, there's certain ways to do this job, and he picked it that way.
Move to Gainesville, pussy.
They'll
Let's
take
just,
you.
real quick, before we're gonna take like a 2-minute break. But let's go through this the results from the SEC games and just talk about them. And what did y'all say?
Before we move off of LSU real quick, we had one more that came
Okay.
in the chat. Hold on, let me pull this one up. You can read these on your laptop, right? They're coming up for you. Or do you have to
I'm
look
not.
at the
I don't
screen?
have the stream up. Well, I read the notes of our document.
You can go back and forth. But it was kind of something that we were talking about pre-show. Did not having Keyshawn maybe show you that? I don't know what to say. Look, I'll just read what he said. Did not having Keyshawn last week and help JD spread the ball around better because he didn't feel like he had to get KB involved.
See, I don't necessarily think that was why he spread it out. I think that was just the game plan
It looked
going in.
easier.
Well, I think that was just the game plan. That's why when we talked about how important it was for him to play, because you're going to have the opportunity to be in a game plan like this and be able to get some numbers and get some catches, maybe get in the end zone because you haven't scored yet. That's why I thought playing in the game was important so you could have build some more chemistry with your quarterback. Now, obviously he didn't play, and you saw him start to build chemistry with other receivers, and so it shows you that we'd love to have you. We'd love for you to be Keyshawn, but you're not going to make or break the offense.
I don't necessarily think that this game was indicative of that. I think would he help? Yeah. I think what has happened though is for the offensive coordinator and how they've kind of schemed this thing up, it's kind of given them some freedom because they've tried to get him really involved early, and this kind of gave him some freedom to kind of do it with multiple people now. I think, like we talked about, dude, Jaden's problem early in the year had been not trusting what he saw and getting out of the pocket too quick.
Right.
I don't think that was necessarily him locked on the Keyshawn.
Right, because there was times Keyshawn was open, he didn't see him.
Exactly. So I don't think that was necessarily the problem in this case. I understand the question, but I'm not sure that was the problem.
Because if you're going to say that would be an issue, I'd imagine that they did the same thing to Jack Bech to get him rolling early. They made a constant effort to get him the football.
And that's fine. That's what you do as an offensive coordinator. Say, I'm going to get the guys early, get them in a rhythm, right? That's what you do. So I don't think he was necessarily locked in on Keyshawn. I just think that the way it started to unfold, and you could start to see it week in and week out that, okay, the offense is starting to evolve. Jaden's getting a little more comfortable. They're going to start changing things because they've seen the personnel and how the personnel is how they play together. So I could have told you this was going to happen offensively. They were going to be able to start throwing the ball around. They were going to try some new things. They're going to change the scheme. That's why I felt like it was important for him to play because he'd be able to get in the middle of that.
He hasn't gotten in the end zone yet. If you're Keyshawn, I understand having a child, your first one, I'd imagine I would have no idea what to do. I understand that
it's going to
monumental.
It was going to be very interesting to see how they insert him back in there this week on the road.
Yeah.
Huge test. Very interesting.
Out for a week.
We'll see.
Very interesting.
We'll see.
But he is good.
He's very good. Nobody's
want him to
down.
play.
Nobody's doubting his
But
talent.
it
You just need him to buy in.
Yeah, I think he's bought in. I
know we
saw,
had this conversation
I
last
saw
week.
the BBL, the bad body language, against Florida State. That happens. But after seeing the two games after that,
and I'm not saying he's not bought in.
I think he is bought in. He's with it. But you
I would
got
just
to be
like for
there.
him. I would just like for him to be there.
You have to, because you see the chemistry that Jaden's developing with Malik Neighbors, with Brian Thomas. You see Jack Bech even. Mason
Jure.
Taylor, Jure. He feels. I think Malik is probably his number one option. It feels where they're whenever shit breaks down, or I'm like, where's 8? Instead, it like you felt like going into the year, but hopefully that would be where's 7.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you need to move Boutte into the slot to get him.
They've done that.
Yeah.
They've moved him around. It's not because he has, like, I told you, early in the season, there were some times where he missed him. He was open. He didn't see him. He missed him, right? But he's made some progress. He's made some progressions in his development. And, you know, I wanted to see them progress together in this game. Now, it didn't happen. I'm hoping that he seamlessly gets inserted back into the offense and it looks great. And, like, you know, he sees them and he's open and he understands. But, I mean, you saw how bad it looked like with Jameis and Michael Thomas. And Michael Thomas is an all-pro receiver. That first half of that first game, like.
Well, because I feel like you start feeling that pressure a little bit. It's like, damn.
Well, you know you want to give him the ball and you know he's going to be open if you get him to him. But, like, hey, he's coming out to break a little earlier than I thought, or he's coming out to break a little later than I thought. You don't have the same, you know, like, I know where he's going to be thought process. Like, that comes with reps and playing together. The more times you play together, the better it can be. All right, I have 14 minutes before I have to get out of here. So let's go through this SEC slate of last week, and let's talk about the games coming up this week. Right? We're not even going to get to the Saints, but that's okay. We'll get to them on Wednesday.
They don't deserve to be talked about just quite yet.
That was a brutal.
But if there's anything good that came out of that game, which was a loss, where it felt like another one where it felt like that should have been a win.
It should have been a win.
And then you kind of shoot yourself.
You just played very bad. The fumble sucked.
That's what I'm saying. That kind of stuff, just the missed tackle in the open field, whenever you have all of
the penalties on like big plays, like you can't do all that stuff. You know, it's things that.
0-3.
Huh? 1-2.
1-2. Who they beat?
Falcons.
The Falcons.
Oh, barely. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. All right. Never mind. I'm back on them.
They're 1-2. They're not 0-3. I think Jameis is battling through some things. You know,
why is he playing?
What sucks for me to see is he's fine. It's fine for him to play. He's not
you would know. You would be able to look at him play and be like, yeah,
he's
fine.
fine.
Yeah, I know, but
the difference is that I don't know if it's the play calling. I don't know what it is, but they don't get going early on. But I feel bad because he had that tip ball that ended up being a pick, fluky kind of thing, and then at the end of the game, about to get sacked, like. Chuck it up. You have to. Like,
yeah.
So it was 2 trash interceptions. Yeah. It sucked, but that's
when I'm watching him play right now, like I feel like he's got to, as weirdly as it is, I feel like he's got to get back to the basics. Strip that shit down. Stop looking at I got Olave down the field. I got Michael Thomas way down here. I could do. Strip it down, dumb it down. Start getting into a rhythm. Stop trying to push the ball. I feel like there's like a little bit of pressing. You know,
they got another weird game next week.
It's a very tough.
They started the season with 3 division opponents. Which anytime you play division, it's always tough. Mm-hmm. Then you got to go out to London and play an 8:30 a.m. game. Mm-hmm. That kind of sucks. It's gonna suck for us. Actually, yep, it's gonna suck for us. I'm gonna be on the golf course. Fuck.
Don't curse the tournament.
I'm not cursing the tournament. I can't wait for the tournament.
Are you gonna booze up?
Yeah, of course.
I don't know.
Hey, you know I'm nervous? I am very nervous about this. The horse race. You know what that is?
Explain it for the people.
Okay, so a horse race is let's say there's 100 guys in this horse race. Everybody plays the same hole, right? But the 51st rated player as far as handicap is matched against the 49th rated player, right? So they match you based off of it's like the NCAA tournament. It's like March Madness, right? Same page. Like 100th is for one, right? So you're supposed to just make your way. But you are playing now. This is after the practice round, so everybody's boozed up, everybody's a little feeling nice. So you have to go back to the tee box. And you do it, and you have to do it with everybody watching you. So you have to tee off with all eyes on you, everybody talking shit, and it's like, damn, I'm kind of nervous about that. But, whatever. Horse race. You know who won it last year? Buzzy.
That's perfect for him. He loves that moment. He hits the last home run in the old Alex box.
I'm nervous about that, but I'm looking forward to it.
The only time that's ever happened was at a bachelor party where we had probably 16 guys watching us play the final 2 holes. Chipped in on 17, no big deal. Just to tie it up.
You just rise up to the occasion usually.
Love the moment, dude.
All right, let's go through this SEC slate real quick. A&M beats Arkansas. Arkansas probably should have won that game, I would assume. I think everybody thinks that.
I bet on
if they didn't doink it.
I did bet A&M -2. I pushed.
Money line. You got to start learning the value of these points there,
pushed.
Mikey. They're important.
I pushed.
Well, we got to win.
I pushed. I didn't lose.
Gotta win.
Didn't lose. The Arkansas doink, that was tough. I thought that was in, hits the top, whatever. Tennessee beats Florida. Score wasn't as close as the game I think was. Obviously first half was close. Florida fumbles the ball. Tennessee goes down, scores. They go up now. They go up 18. 17. They go up 17. Spread was 10.5, right? And I'm watching the game in the church. It's on my phone.
That's why you lost your bet.
It's in my phone. I'm watching it on the pew.
Did you get like a nudge, like, "Hey, Mikey, stop"?
Well, I did until my uncles and my cousins behind me said, "No, he's good.
Yeah.
So
We're all,
so everybody's watching it, right? So I'm watching it here, and I'm like, damn, 10.5. So they go and score to make it 17-point lead. Florida goes down, scores to make it. I'm thinking like, damn, that's a great cover right there because they score with not much time left. I thought Tennessee was just gonna like run the ball out, do whatever. They go down there, score. For some reason, Florida goes for 2. I don't understand the 9 and 10-point difference there. Like I get like maybe going for the win if you get the field goal, but like let's just tie the game. You know what I mean? Let's worry about tying the game first before winning because like it's a long shot. So they don't get the 2-point conversion. I'm thinking like, oh my God, they fucked everybody on this cover because if you took Florida 10.5, they're losing by 11. You're not gonna cover. And then I think they get the onside kick and they score the touchdown late in the game and make it a 5-point game. But it was for a minute there, I was like, damn, that's a bad situation.
But I think that's why the NFL slate felt so weird is because the college football slate was just so chaotic that it was like, oh. I don't know, like you had such a dopamine rush from the college football, and then if you bet on the NFL, all of the kind of like a lot of the favorites lost. So
I'm about to say right now, betting in the NFL is a absolute crapshoot.
I am losing all the money that I make on Saturdays. I lose on Sundays.
It's a straight crapshoot right now.
I told someone.
LSU, the Saints keep
one of the weirdest lines of the weekend was Baylor being underdogs. That was kind of weird to me.
They've done that to them like 3. Maybe they're not as good as we think.
That was weird.
I just bet on Dave because remember they did that against BYU. They were catching 2 points or 2
it was weird to me them being underdogs. But I actually told Robert, maybe it was Robert. I told him I was like, hey, I'll take Texas Tech money line. I just have a feeling that like I said I'll take Texas Tech, and then he was like whatever the spread was, and I was like honestly like. I wouldn't be surprised if Texas Tech won. Obviously, I told him this like right before I ended up not betting it, and of course Texas Tech goes up and upsets Texas. It's just, I just had it. I don't have a good feeling. Texas doesn't do it for me anymore. I just don't. I don't trust them.
No Quinn. He was on the sidelines. He's obviously not available to play unless Drew Brees is your team doctor, who was just like, hey, dude, shoot it up and go get back in the game. It's like, Drew, he's 18 years old. He's not. I don't think they're going to pump him full of Vicodin and send him out there. But Drew, do you, man? I can't wait for him to become or have his sons in a high school football game. It's like, give Braden a couple of shots, he'll be fine.
Ole Miss almost lost to Tulsa, 8-point win, right? Not impressive. Kentucky struggles to beat Northern Illinois. That's 8-point win. Northern. Auburn and Missouri was an awful game to watch. Missouri should have won twice, and they missed their big fat kicker misses it right.
Did you hear the story about him that he doesn't do pregame kicks?
Well,
he probably should.
He should probably start.
Yeah,
probably start doing that. So he misses it.
Still
misses an extra point. Like it was an extra point.
He should
misses
probably
it,
start.
and then your running back's about to score a touchdown, fumbles it out the end zone, and you lose the game. You give it away, right? Very bad game. But the whole point of bringing up that slate of games is. Just doesn't seem like none of those teams that I just mentioned. I'm like, damn, I don't think that we can compete with them, and so that's the whole reason to go back, circle it all back.
This would have been a classic, like a great year for LSU to be just, and maybe they are, but like if you're just in the conversation because people are going down left and right, it's like 2007 all over again where LSU's able to backdoor in there with 2 losses just because you're around. So if LSU's able to. What? Oh, well, you were on the team.
Yeah, that team was a top 5 team to start the year.
I know,
but I know, but
So I'm saying if LSU had won all, if they're undefeated right now,
Like the two losses they had were disappointing. Like, oh damn, I can't believe y'all did that. Y'all are out of it now.
right, that's what I'm saying. That's what's happening.
We
to
wasn't around. They thought we were out. Like, you're out. Not around. You were out. Like, see ya. You guys lost. You're out.
Yeah, it feels like LSU was kind of like there's no expectation on that. I understand what you're saying, where it's like they started off in the top 5. We're a national championship contending team. I'm saying LSU is kind of can flirt with being in that boat. If you only have one loss and everybody around you has gone down and Florida State continues to play well, if you have 2 losses to Florida State and Alabama.
Yeah.
They got
you have
4
those-
teams in.
Yeah,
If
you're
you have
right
those
there.
2 losses, like you're gonna be in the top 10 in the country.
Right, and if it continues to go this way, like it was
You
just
gotta
a
hope
bit
that Florida
nice-
State continues to play well.
Yeah,
That makes the loss
I would
look
love
better.
to play them in a bowl game again.
They're not gonna do that. The bowl game.
Rematch and
the
then play 'em
bowl game wouldn't
again.
do that.
Then play them again in next year's opener.
Yeah,
No, the bowl game wouldn't do that. All right, I hate to cut this short. We got 4 minutes left. Let's go through the curtain call. Curtain calls. Do you have one?
I have one. So
Curtain calls brought to you by Frankie Harris at Assured Partners.
Ooh,
So-
glad you said it, not me.
5-star defensive back Javian Toviano from Texas he was here for the Southern game on his LSU visit. Goes to the A&M game as on a visit to A&M for the game this weekend at the Cowboy Stadium. Shows up on his A&M visit with an LSU hat on. And somebody posted it with him and some other recruits. And
Hey,
said,
the guy in the middle actually looks like he could relate it to Devin White.
Yeah. And so
Looks
they
like
show
doesn't he?
a little bit. He's big.
Let me look at that again.
No, I'm talking
So-
about just his face. The guy in the middle, just his face a
He
little
kind of
bit.
does a little bit.
Like
So
a
they-
cousin, you know what I mean? Like not
Yeah.
a brother, but like kind of like
he
a.
kind of does.
So
Yeah.
it gets posted that A&M's president is heavily felt while he's wearing an LSU hat on his head. And I just thought that was funny.
I respect it. That's a big move.
Yeah, it is kind of bold for a high school kid to show up at A&M with an LSU hat on.
Big move. Love that. Love that.
I'm trying to pull up the picture.
My current calls are our boy Albert Pujols, number
It's in the
700.
doc.
Ned did not think he was going to get to it. If you
It's
told me
in
at the
the
beginning of
doc,
the year he was going to
boy.
get it, did not think he was going to do it.
No.
It has to be
If you even
late
told me
for
at the halfway point if he was going to do
Yeah.
it, I'd say no, he's not going to do it.
No, he's not going to do it. So shout out to him. Aaron Judge going 61 and 62 in the same game whenever he breaks it. I'm just letting you know.
We bet on that the other day. Plus 900. We got robbed. Did I do this one already about the chess player?
Which one? About the vibrator or something?
Yeah.
Yeah, you told me that already. You already said that.
Did I say it on the show?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, that was gonna be my curtain call.
You want another one? Jerry
Sure.
Judy? Did we talk about him?
Bro, people go
Oh
at
my
Shannon
god!
Sharp
It absolutely
hot, bro.
dunked him.
Uncle Shay Shay gets all the smoke.
He loves it. He loves it.
So Shannon Sharp tweeted, Judy does all this route running in the offseason and can't catch a fucking pass. And Jerry Judy, in a now deleted tweet, said, and you be doing all that talking during the season while your breath be smelling like your ass. Hashtag big win.
Oh wait, are we worried about?
Bars.
Hey, before I go, is Russell Wilson done? Like, is he not good at football anymore? Like,
Is he about to pull a Tebow and just be a Jesus guy for the rest of his life?
I read somewhere. Max Toscano, shout out, and the Valley Shook. He does a lot of film breakdowns. He's like real into it. It's if you want to be educated, a little bit like Cassie's Clicker, where he breaks down formations and what people struggle with. He said that once people figured out that Russ struggles with like kind of a too high look, like the NFL is it repeats itself.
Yeah, it's a
They started running a
copycat.
lot. Yeah, they started running a lot of cover two, and they said because of his height and how he's not able to be anticipatory on his throws because he's on a new team, that's why he's struggling. He's kind of doesn't really know to go with the football because I thought Russell Wilson was a good quarterback. I never liked the guy. but
no,
I
he's always
thought-
been good.
But I thought he was always been good. And so that's
Well,
kind
he
of...
bamboozled me because I drafted him in fantasy thinking he'd be good. He has not been good.
Here's the thing. I'll just let this, just let it sit for a little bit. We're still before week 4. These
get
guys
that.
didn't play at all in preseason.
Right? Give him some time.
Shit matters.
Give him some time.
That's all I'm gonna say.
Give him some time.
But he has looked not good at all.
Not good.
I'm
Stinky.
straight up not
Very
good at
stinky.
all.
I saw that.
What?
My fault, not my fault. Quick one, sorry. It just happened. This
Brought
is
to you
just
by
coming...
Dozy
This
Place.
happened
Brought-
like 2 hours ago.
Yeah, brought to you by Dozy Place. I knew I had one, I just couldn't remember. I don't know what's going on over here, but LSU PD has arrested some cat, and he is on what is going on with LSU fans right now?
I don't know. Show me though.
There
We're
you go.
running out of time.
So he got arrested for being outside the stadium, and he was, I guess.
He said he was a major part of the 2019 team, and like.
No, he said he was the reason they won.
Yeah, the reason they won the 2019 national championship. So this guy's just getting he's going straight to jail, Greg.
He's trying to break into the stadium.
Oh,
he's
that's what
shirtless.
he's trying to do.
So,
Wow.
my fault, not my fault, trying to get in there.
I mean, his fault.
Yeah.
100%.
Oh, and Jimmy G, shout out. Finally takes Orlovsky off the hook.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Shout out. I was ran out the back of the end zone.
Smart play. He saved a pick six.
I don't know. Orlovsky's play was so bad. That to me, it don't even come close to the same thing. But Dan's hanging on to it.
Nah,
At least
it's okay though.
Dan
He
I
likes
think
it.
Dan tweeted that shit as soon as
Yeah,
he
it keeps him
put
in the
a foot
media.
out
He
there.
likes more
That's just
attention.
been in the drafts.
Oh,
for
he been
15
waiting for somebody.
years.
He just had to put the @ on who it was going to be. Like he been waiting for that.
No doubt.
But I agree with you because they just brought Orlovsky right back to it. Like if he doesn't tweet about it, then it's like everybody's talking about Dance because he's running like 8 yards out the back.
Right.
For like 18
Shout out.
steps too. Like he
was
ran
funny.
across the back of the entire end zone.
Jimmy
Terrified.
saved 5 points.
Yeah.
He
There
did
you
a
go.
pick
I mean,
six.
it might be the worst
did.
play of all.
They really did.
Yeah, it was
ever.
not very well. And the butt punt. That was not good
in
either.
the same day.
Yeah, that was not
What
good
a
either.
weird.
Yeah, we can't. We'll get to NFL
Great,
slate
yeah.
on Wednesday before Thursday night football
Great
game.
day to have
Great
a
day.
short show.
Yeah, great day. Great day. Thank y'all for tuning in. Glad y'all had a great weekend. We're Mik'd Up. We're brought to you by Sterling Automotive. Catch us on Wednesday from 6 to 8 p.m. the full 8 till full 2-hour show. We're gonna have guests on Wednesday, and we will not have the show on Friday from Uncle Earl's. I'm sorry. We're not gonna have it. All
What are your
podcast
other
networks,
hobbies?
Spotify, and Apple. Love y'all. See y'all on Wednesday. Peace. You can't keep me here much longer. I gotta go, Coach. Today's show is brought to you by Dos Equis. Here in Louisiana, we like to have a great time. If you're looking to be the life of the tailgate, check out Dos Equis mini kegs. Hold 16 beers, easy to tap, easy to pour, easy to chill. Check it out. Become a life of the party. You're welcome.